Listen, good morning to the leader in you. Listen, we are kicking off this segment with two powerful queens, a mother and daughter tag team. They are a powerhouse. Yes, powerhouse. You know, when we bring leaders on this show, they are bringing, I call them golden nuggets because it's something we can chew on. It's something that we can also implement in our life. And, you know, we have Miss Lecia and we have Balecia here today, and we're going to hear perspectives from two different age groups, you know, and that's important, right? But I also want to say for those that's watching right now, no matter where you may be in your life, today is a fresh start. Today is a new beginning. And today we hope something from this segment that you're going to hear is going to awaken the leader within you. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you so much. Nice to be here.
Absolutely. Listen, you know, Miss Lecia, we met some years ago. And I want to share with all the viewers that's watching, it's something about connection. I had reached out to her, shared with her what I was doing with Speak Life. And without hesitation, she immediately responded back and connected. I was new to Orlando, you know, and it's something about, you know, someone that pours into your life and they don't even know you. So is the reason why I'm opening up with saying this, because there may be someone in your life and maybe you've been wondering, who should I pour into? Know that whoever you decide to pour into is going to be a ripple effect and they're going to be able to pour back into you. And so that's what this whole segment today is about. It's about pouring it into each other as leaders. But I want to talk about your journey, Miss Lecia, and then we're going to come to your daughter and learn about her journey, right? Talk about your journey, you know, to entrepreneurship. Talk about, when did you know that you were an entrepreneur? And I know you have books that you're going to share with us today. You know, what struck that passion on the inside of you to write your first book and then your second book. But take us through the journey. Take us through the journey to starting your first business. How did you know you were called to be an entrepreneur?
Well, that's an interesting question because I really didn't know. It was nothing I pursued. By career, I'm a social worker to my bone. I'm a therapist. I've taught on the college level. I just happened to be in case management and mental health when a group home owner reached out to me after I left and became a director of a program in mental health. They say, I'm selling the business. I thought about you. And I'm like, me? She goes, yeah, because you're so caring, you're so good. And I ended up owning a 16-bed assisted living facility. But still, me becoming a business person didn't enter my mind because I was a service delivery, you know, direct care person. I think over time, it called me to do it. It presented itself for me to start, and started with my therapy, being a counselor, a therapist, and I was going to the homes doing the therapy. And then the Lord said one day after I married and moved up here, now 20 years I've been in Orlando, that I don't want you doing home business anymore. Get an office. And I'm like, get an office? I'm like, oh, I can't afford to get an office. I don't make a whole lot of money. And then I went to my P.O. box and there was a 3x5 card inviting me to the building I'm in now over 10 years later.
So when that idea was planted in your heart, you know, the Lord, you know, shared with you to expand. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing from you. It was time to expand. You know, you launched out there, then you hit the road of expansion. There was some fear, but at the same time, something was in your P.O. box. So that was an indicator for you that it was time to transition and to expand. And the reason why I'm emphasizing that for those that's tuning in now, or you may be sending this link to someone else, is that sometimes when we're going through those transitional phases in our life, sometimes we can feel uncertain about it, right?
Oh, yeah.
But even in that uncertainty, you still plunge forward, though.
Yeah, I'm known for doing that. And when God tells me to do something, I don't hesitate. Time, it's all about timing. If you hesitate, you can talk yourself out of it. The opportunity will walk on by you. And I've never been that type of person in my character to let something walk by. I'm like, am I supposed to do that? Now that I'm closer to the Lord, I know to run and launch, because I've started a lot of things. He told me to go do it. I did it. He said, okay, you're done. And I'm done. So he's finding me faithful and trustworthy. So he trusts me with whatever he's given me to do, to be able to do it.
Your consistency bared fruit. That's also what I'm hearing from you.
There you go.
Because you was consistent, the consistency bore the fruit of your business. And through you being consistent, you're an author, a published author. Yeah. Let's talk about it. What was your first book?
Oh my gosh, you won't believe it. The first book, I didn't have one in the car, but it's called Profits in the Projects.
Okay.
And that came from during the George Bush era. Just was taking a young man home with my best friend who's no longer with us. And that's when the ballots got lost in Palm Beach County. And all the people, originally from Palm Beach County, and all the, journalists, everybody went to Palm Beach that time. So we're dropping this young man off in the hood. And there's these Asian looking reporters. And they were filming this little girl, black girl, with a formal dress on, but it was torn, it was dirty, and she was barefoot, and she was playing in a puddle. And I got mad. I said, "You're not filming this. This is not Palm Beach. You want Palm Beach? You see that hill over there? Go over the hill." And so I'm fussing, and my girlfriend's like, "You don't understand." I said, "You don't understand. These people don't vote in this area, and there are profits in these projects." And Jeannie said, "There's your book." I said, "I'm not writing a book, and you all need to leave." It took me 12 years to write that book because I was in denial.
What was the denial about for those that's watching?
I ain't writing no book. You know how many books I've been reading all my life?
So you felt like, am I supposed to be called to be an author? Is that what it was about? Okay.
I was like, oh no, I don't like to. I can speak. Speaking is my gift. Writing?
You were like,
I ain't doing that. It took me 12 years. 12 years of just total denial. I was like, I ain't doing it, and let it go. And then I would type up a little bit. It'll come up, and people, oh my God, you should share your story. Do you have any books? And then people would speak. Then I'm like, no, I don't. And you have to be nice. I'm like, oh, no, I don't have a book. Book. 12 years.
12 years. There's someone watching right now. You may feel years have gone by. Maybe someone has spoken something to your life, or maybe you feel inwardly that it's something that you're supposed to do, but you've allowed the time to go by. Miss Gray, talk to the viewers that 12th year, because something happened that the light bulb went off and you finally wrote the book. What was it for you?
It was just, again, strangers, encounters with strangers saying, you know what, you look like you should. You're an author? You have a book? No, I don't have. And I come back and I found where I was typing bits and pieces of it. And I'm like, okay, all right, Lord, you know what? I surrender. I surrender. I'll finish this. You got to help me on this, but I'll finish it. And I finally finished it. And my publisher was, all of a sudden I got a piece of another 3x5, 5x5 card invitation in the mail out of the blue. Hey, are you a writer? And I'm like, are you serious? And they're my publisher today.
So you got indicators along the way.
Totally. You could be in denial, but when God has purposed that for your life, you're going to be constantly reminded. Constantly reminded. Strangers, people nagging you, bugging you. My girlfriend, now she's passed on, but she was able to see the production of that book. But she would bother me all the time. But you need to write that book. I'm not. Man. She said, "Profits in the projects. Do you understand what that means? That means you're not to, and that's what the book is about. You're not to judge people from where they come from.
Yeah.
Because along your journey, you may need them.
Yeah, that's right.
You may need them.
And so for those that are watching now, and you feel that you've been in this in-between maybe phase of your life, or you may feel that people have judged you because of maybe where you've come from, whatever the case may be, we want to encourage you. We want to empower you. We want to motivate you that this is your awakening experience. Today, you're going to have an awakening experience. The leader that's on the inside of you that may have been lying dormant for whatever reason is going to awaken today, because today is your day. Now, I want to bring on another special guest who's already sitting beside you, because y'all are a powerhouse. We're going to talk about your second book too, but I want to bring in your daughter, Lecia. She is an entrepreneur. She recently graduated from high school. Welcome. How are you? Listen, I tell you, we have the queen, we have the princess. You started a business. Now, what was your passion? Why did you even start? Well, tell us the name of your business and why did you start your business?
My name of my business is Beauty Bags and More.
Yes.
I originally started 6th grade going to 7th grade when my dad passed. My mom gave me an idea, was looking for me a pocketbook or whatever, and I wasn't into Hello Kitty. I was in middle school. I wasn't into none of that girly stuff. So I wanted something,
different.
Preteenish area, so we couldn't find nothing. And I could draw a little bit back then. So my mom was like, draw what you would like. And I did. And the right people came around for us to like try to get that started. That's my first business that I started, which was my handbag business.
Yes.
I actually have like my first.
Oh, you want to show? Come on and show us.
My first design right here.
Okay. Yes.
Whatever.
Nice.
But after that, I began doing T-shirts and stuff like that. Briefly, like basic tie-dye and stuff like that. And I kind of lost that around the way. Then I did hair and stuff like that. And I kind of stopped doing business-like things until high school. And that's when I started my dessert business.
Talk about it, because I follow your Instagram page, and I'm telling you, tell about your Instagram page.
Oh, well, I mean, I have well, I don't think I have my old T-shirts because I have a different business page for that one.
Yes. But, the one where you be showing your cakes and pastries.
I started my dessert business during the pandemic, actually. Okay. Because I wanted to get back into business or whatever since I put my handbag business on a pause. I began that because I enjoy cooking. Okay. But I wasn't really like into baking like that. I would do brownies every once in a while. But like I was like, let me get into this. So I started baking. And started baking and baking, making new desserts and stuff like that. Just experimenting really. And then I had my friends wanting to buy and stuff. I originally started off with like cheesecake slices and stuff like that, non-baked or anything like that. And then I went into cupcakes, making cakes and stuff like that. Yeah, in the jar.
Yeah.
Cake in the jar.
Cake in the jar. Oreo.
Well, I mean, it's cheesecakes in the jar. I stopped doing the slices and put them in the jar. It's like a really like that.
You evolving.
And then I recently started another business, which is my soul food business. Because I love to cook. So I was like, might as well share my loving with everybody.
Why not? And I know those that's watching right now, you're going to want to support this young queen. As I stated, she recently graduated from high school. She is a young entrepreneur. She's sitting next to her mom, who's an entrepreneur. I'm driving home a message here. We sow those seeds into the next generation, right? We sow the seeds to the next. How do you feel seeing your mom as an author and an entrepreneur? Did that plant something in you for what you're doing?
Actually, no. Like my plan, I want to do a lot of things. Yes. Like back, like in middle school, whatever, I was like, okay, cool, I could start a little business or whatever. But like I was doing hair, I was, balancing things, kind of playing with it.
Kind of figuring out, what it's gonna be.
But then I realized I came to a point because I want to have a job.
Okay.
I want to work in a shoe store. I love sneakers. Like, that's my thing.
Love. Okay.
And I was like, I don't think, like my friends will always tell me, I don't see you working under anybody. Like you're too out there to
you stood out.
Under anybody. And I'm like, really? Like, I don't know. I want to be in the shoe store. I'm going to get my sneakers for like, as I was listening to them, I was like, you know what? You may be right. Because I don't think I can have anybody bossing me around, telling me to do this and this and that. After a while, I'll probably get annoyed. So I was just like, you know what? I could be my own boss.
Yes.
I could be my own boss.
And how old are you?
I am 18 years old.
I'm driving on my point here. She's 18, a young entrepreneur in college. Okay.
Yes.
What are you taking up? What field do you want to specialize
in? Business management.
Okay.
I'm trying to go into, once I transfer and everything, I'm trying to go into entrepreneurship because the school that I'm at now doesn't offer that. So when I do transfer, it'll change into entrepreneurship.
Okay. It's powerful. So you got your business. You have multiple creative ideas. Now I'm telling you, for those who's tuning in, you got to plug into the page if you want to get some of her scrumptious delights.
We do deliver.
Okay, deliver. You see how mom keeps plugging? I don't know if y'all noticed, but I know I noticed. That's right. That's what we do.
A lot of pop-up shops that are
Okay, wait a minute. Talk about the pop-up shops.
I've gotten into some pop-up shops that I've seen locally or whatever like that. So I'll just go to some of my desserts and everything like that. Once I get back into my handbag business and stuff like that, I'll be selling those as well. And my website will be more.
Now, do you take custom orders, whether it be for the handbag or for the desserts?
Desserts mainly. Mm-hmm. For handbags, I'm willing to see everybody's idea. Like, I want to get to a point where it's just like, okay, somebody comes to me and is like, okay, I want to design this way, I'll draw it up and have my people, do their thing. And
your people, you got people.
Yeah. Well,
no, I love it. I love it.
Ready, the people will come.
Let me tell you, no, I love it. Let me tell you why I love it. Because you're 18, you just got out of high school, and you have a focus and a determination. It's something to be said about this.
Determination, yes.
Because you don't have to have all the pieces when you start. You just have to start.
Exactly.
You know? And what would you say to another 18-year-old that might be watching now or later that may have a business idea but may feel a little intimidated because maybe they're, I'm still young, maybe I don't have a lot of money or whatever it is. What would you say to them?
You got to build that confidence to stick with it, because once you get into it, it's all about praying for that consistency, praying that you will strive, you will expand. You just really have to believe in yourself. And having that support system makes it better.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But when you don't, you need to be your own cheerleader. You need to hype yourself up and be like, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing. Even if your family don't support you, your friends don't support you, you got yourself at the end. And you have to be your biggest cheerleader.
Your biggest cheerleader. And you have to keep pushing. You have to keep pushing. Wow. Where do you see your business growing to?
I want to do everything. Okay,
it's unlimited.
It's like I also sew. So like I made my own homecoming dress. So like,
I saw it was beautiful on IG.
Get into doing sewing and stuff like that, making prom dresses, making custom outfits and stuff like that. I'm gonna get back into doing that and stuff, along with like customizing t-shirts and everything like that. But more on the sewing side.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I want to have my own bakery. I want to have like a full service salon as well, like with my hair, because I will be going my second year of college. I will be going to cosmetology school.
Okay.
For hair. So I want to have a salon. Just have everything. Really like, my sewing, have a little place for my sewing, my bakery, just everything on one-stop shop.
There it is. Ms. Gray, how do you feel as you hear this young entrepreneur as she shares? I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, I know you're excited, of course.
Yeah, and she bounces things off of me, no matter what time of the night it is.
See, when the light bulb goes off,
she go, Ma, I'm like, yes. Are you listening? Yes. But a lot of that, I remember that conversation after my husband passed away, and we had a mother-daughter day, and we went looking for a handbag. Yeah. Literally. And we couldn't find anything. And I said, wait a minute, you all draw. All my kids draw. Got that gift, didn't get it from me. I said, draw what you want. Well, how am I going to? I said, well, you've got friends, go on Instagram and have them judge which one should come out
that
first.
Was a neat idea.
Yeah, which one would come out first. And they did. We had like 12, 13 responses. That was number one. The second one, we got number two, And then when I was like, wow, I was at a meeting one night and for PTA, plug there, PTSA, and I was just talking, and one of my colleagues like, well, my mom used to sew drapes and stuff and make handbags in New York. She's retired, they're here now. I said, how soon can I talk to your mother? And sure enough, she created about 15 bags, different bags from her drawing. Wow. Which we still have, which we will market later. But so I'm very proud that Balecia listens. I'm proud of her prayer life. It's that is paramount if you're a believer. And she knows I'll quickly say, did you pray about it? What did God say? Because I'm not going outside of him. I love my kids very much, and I'm blessed. She's our miracle baby. She's a twin, but she took the hit coming into this world. We almost lost her. And so it's a special place. And then she looks like me, and parts of my personality. But she listens. She listens. So parents, if you've got a child out there and they're coming to you and they seem like they just don't want to, just give them a minute. It'll soak in. Let them go off and come back, and they'll see what's good for them. And I'm in. She once upon a time wanted to go take over my therapy business. One day. What?
I will be majoring in binary and sociology. It's stuff I want to. Therapy.
Okay.
And she's very good at it. I have to admit that.
All right.
I heard her giving some advice to her peers, and I'm like, That girl ain't going to school, and she's a little like me, So is that not that DNA?
Yeah.
And celebrating was in the DNA and all that. As a baby, she always was into fashion. There were outfits I bought for her that she did not. One day when she found she was the first to walk, she was the youngest, but she was the first to walk. Next thing I know, she's going in the bedroom back and forth. The daddy's feeding her, but she's walking now. And once she got her legs up and knew that power, she was gone. We couldn't keep up with her. And then she'd go in the room and change her clothes. And now the therapy piece of me, because I don't walk, I'm not a parent with my head in the sand ever.
Right.
So a piece of me was like, does she have ADHD? Because she keep going in the room and changing in one day. And she put pieces together that weren't purchased together.
Okay. So she had an eye.
I told her daddy, I said, this girl here, she gonna cost you some money because you gotta keep her dressed. I said that to him. He said, I see that. But anyway, I'm very proud of her. Yes. She knows that. I'm gonna be the hardest on her. But she's got that personality. And that drive and the gene was in the DNA already.
It was something when you said that a few minutes ago. Yeah, that's a powerful statement.
It's in the DNA. It's in the DNA, and that's what my third book talks about. When you talk about why am I so angry, but it was there. I didn't push her into it.
Yeah.
I didn't make
it her. Was natural.
She's not living my dream.
Right, and that's a good distinction to make.
Very big distinction because I was. If I wanted to be a ballerina, I'm gonna make my child do that, and she can't even hardly walk.
Right.
She don't look good in the tutu. Right. So, no, you do. I ain't talking about it. Okay.
I so love this segment today, y'all. Yes, love the energy.
But anyway, so I'm very proud of her, and she stays very focused.
Yeah.
And, we went through something 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, and she took the helm of her brothers, and still was doing the business.
Yeah.
And maintaining a 4.0. Was on an honor society.
Yeah.
And I wasn't there. She wasn't able to communicate with me. And she kept it going. And it expanded itself. So don't worry about finding the different pieces to help you or the partners or the team. You set out to go do it. Once she made the drawings, it was a conversation at a meeting. Next thing we know, that weekend we went over to the lady's house. Didn't even want to charge me for making 12 sewing together, customized 12 handbags. She said, well, whatever you want to pay me, whatever I want to pay you. But God already told me, showed me the number. I said, okay. She goes, oh my God, this is too much. I said, no, it's not. Because you made my baby's dream come to pass.
But it started, you was in the store, both of you was in the store looking for the handbag, but you didn't see. Was it a market?
We went to the market. Yeah, we went high end.
Was it a market?
Nordstrom to Marshalls. Looking on one Sunday.
Right.
Oh, East Colonial. Yeah, and then we went to the Florida Mall. We couldn't find it.
It's a message in that, because sometimes we're looking for something that doesn't exist yet because you're supposed to create it.
Exactly.
And so for all the leaders that's tuning in right now, catch that message. Perhaps we're seeking for something that's not there yet because we're supposed to create that something, whatever that something is that you're looking for. And this is what you guys did. You went out and you started doing your drawings. You put online for your peers to judge it and give their feedback. So you put it into the atmosphere. That's my whole point of addressing that. You put it into the atmosphere. Then you was at a PTA meeting. Right, Miss Gray? And you heard another student talking about their mom and how she sews.
No. Actually, it's my colleague.
It was your colleague?
Yeah, we're on the council of PTA,
okay.
PTA and PTSA. So I was just talking. I said, yeah. She said, how the kids do? I said, oh, they're doing really good. I said, you know what? Balecia is starting a handbag line, but we got to find somebody that can sew it. And she goes, oh, my mom. And we went to the lady. When we went to her house that weekend, her 2-car garage is her work area. Okay. She made shears and draperies
in the
and
garage.
Had a big measurement table.
Right in the garage.
And 12 different sewing machines?
Yeah, something.
12 different. I didn't know there was a different sewing machine for denim, for velour.
Wow.
But I'm having an educational moment. 12 different sewing machines set up at stations in her garage.
Wow. So you put it out into the atmosphere.
Just happen to be talking.
Just talking. putting it out there. And it's a message in that. Sometimes we say we want to start something, but have we put it out there? Are we speaking of it? Are we in motion to start the production of whatever it should be, right? Mm-hmm. And this is what I'm hearing from both of you. It started with just a void, really, because you didn't find what you was looking for. So it was a void. Ms. Gray, you suggested for your daughter to draw. She drew. She got her other peers involved. So that means motion was happening. And sometimes if we feel that we're not manifesting what we should manifest, then we have to go back to, have we started to execute on the first step?
Where's your first step?
Your first step. And, in this process, I know, Ms. Gray, you also wrote another book, right?
Yeah.
And what's the name of your other book?
Well, I was in a local church in Longwood one Sunday. Have been through a lot, went through a lot. Just was feeling heavy as a therapist. I don't carry other folks' stuff. I'm able to get that off by the time I'm locking my door and going home. But I walked, and the praise and worship was just beautiful. And I'm weeping.
Yeah.
I wasn't crying, but I was weeping. And I said, oh, my Lord. I said, God, look at me, your warrior, weeping. And the Holy Spirit said, that's your second book. I said, second book? And in 3 months, start to finish, published and on the street. 3 months.
Yeah.
Compared to 12 years. The Weeping Warrior.
The Weeping Warrior. There it is. Right there. Oh yeah. Let's flip. Okay. In the back now the back of the book is who?
Me.
It's not a cartoon character. It's not some fictional person. We're seeing the author live in person today, and on the back of the book. And that's a staff. That you're holding?
No, that's one of my swords. I collect swords.
This is a serious warrior right here. Okay, she got swords up in her home. Yeah, but it's real with the weeping. So the weeping warrior. Just give us a
Balecia's business on the back. She will assist her twins in launching their lines of handbags and wallets for their age group.
So that's integration.
Yeah,
you launched your book, and at the same time, it talks about what your daughters are doing. The Weeping Warrior. Give everybody just a snippet of what it is about.
Well, at that time, prior to, and my husband hadn't passed yet, but going through marital problems and things, and just like, what am I going to do? And then one day I said to God, I pray for so many people. You have me praying for so many situations. Who's praying for me? Who's strong enough to pray for me? And I said, God, I don't mean to sound ungrateful, but I need a new team of intercessors. I need a warrior or two. Normally, there are not that many prayer warriors in one setting. Like for you, you would maybe have one or two. You won't have a whole bunch, but you'll have a whole lot of intercessors. And intercessors keep us grounded, because when we go for war, we go for war. But that's a whole different show.
We got to have you come back to talk about
it. But yeah, I asked God, who's praying for me? Because I'm taking these hits. Because when you cover somebody in prayer, I'm covering you.
Right.
So the arrows are hitting me. They're not going to come nigh unto you. And that's what I learned. So this is what that book is about, and going through and persevering. And walking it through when you don't feel like it. You don't know how many times I've canceled everybody and wanted to let everything go. And just be myself. Because I'm in the people business.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by people. Whether I'm counseling, praying, teaching, training, I'm surrounded. But then I got these folks here, and stuff, and they ain't no joke either. But but that's what this is about. Just who prays for me, and I had to get my swords, and the Lord showed me. He wanted, and actually, I don't know if you can make this out, but that's a tear drop I'm in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can tell. Yeah, surrounding you.
It's in a teardrop, and I remember going home. I was slated to go home, but I had to take my swords. And so my oldest son, he's 6'5" now, but he was over about 6'3", and so he was loading the car. I said, "Now take this sword, take these sets of swords, take these." He's like, "Mom, you really do these really work?" And I was like, "You want me to
don't test it out?"
So, because I was meeting my photographer back home.
Okay.
And so we were at the hotel taking these pictures, and the people are walking about like, "Oh dear." But
this is real.
This was really real. She's got swords. But yeah, I took very very careful. But 3 months, no denial.
Yeah.
He said it. The Holy Spirit said it. And I had to start on it. That was Sunday, Monday. I'm already on it and contacting my publisher. I got another book. Do y'all have any deals? And they had a great deal for me for a returning author. She was done in 3 months.
And it was produced and out there. And so, listen, I would definitely encourage anybody to purchase either of her books. It definitely will transform your life. And because, again, I know Miss Gray personally. When you're a new person in a new state, you really don't know a lot of people. You reach out, whether it be phone call, email, or what have you, and to have someone genuinely connect back with you, that's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing, and that's something I won't forget. Tell people, how can they get connected to you?
Well, they can call me on my cell phone, or they can look me up on my webpage. I'm open. I'm pretty much open. But to know that I'm about business.
Yes.
If you got a heart for something, one of my students called me. I touched bases with her the other night. She's a co-host on my webcast, and I'll mention that too on Monday nights. And we were just talking, and I didn't know she's at a low place. God just told me to call her and invite her on, and she's at a low place.
Yeah.
So I listened to all of that and all that. She goes, yes. And she said, I'm back in school. I said, well, what are you getting? Blah, 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 blah. And it led to, I always wanted to open up a food kitchen, soup kitchen. I said, I had you for 4 years. I never knew that.
Wow.
So what are you doing? This is the conversation.
Yeah. To kick it into gear.
Exactly. And she's like, well, now when you start singing to me, then I'm like, okay. Okay, let me slow down. I said, well, you do know that you can go to Sam's and get the containers and get this and that and the other. And are you making your soup special, or you do the can? Well, I'm going to do the can. I said, okay, so then go to Sam's and do it, but you got to find out membership. Yeah. I'm just going, now, as I'm saying it, and she's hearing it, I'm hearing it consciously for the first time.
Yeah.
Because I was really calling her about something else. And 20 minutes later, then I told her what I was calling about. But she and her sons are starting to feed the homeless in Atlanta tomorrow.
Wow. So it's kicked into gear.
Done. She just checked. We were on our way here, and she goes, Miss Gray, you're on speaker, and my sons are here. And my son wants to do this. He's like, Mom, we could do that. So they're going to go and feed 10. I see the number 10. Feed 10 people.
So she's sewing back to her kids. Her kids are flowing in entrepreneurship and leadership as well. And that's what this show, for those that's watching now, going to watch later, it's when we talk about building business and we're talking about leadership, it's also who else are you connected to? And in this segment, it's really about family, pouring into that next generation. The sister that you just talked about, she's pouring into her kids. They're now about to never knew. And
she have to do it by herself.
And now she's going out in the Atlanta community with her children. They are excited about it.
Totally. They're in the car like, yeah, I can hear. And these are young people. They're like 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. And they're like, when can we do this? When are we going to do this? And she's like, well, I said, no, your timing. And that's about God. God's about timing. If he tells you to do it today, you need to be about it today. And I said, no, you have until Friday, because I could tell she's going through. But I said, you got to push through that for a minute, push it to the side. You got to go do what God's asking you to do.
And I think it's a message in what you just said. Because some may say, well, if I can't feed thousands, I won't feed any. But just 10 is still doing something.
10.
It's still changed. That's 10 people that wouldn't have had. And I think sometimes when we talk about stepping out on our business, on whether it's a not-for-profit, or what we've called to do as a leader, right? It's not about the size or how many or the quantity. It's about the act of doing. In the season, because you say in the timing, because it's a timing when you're supposed to do it. And so we have to understand the timing, the season that we're in our life. You taught me a lot about that as well. It's about timing and seasons. And, for those that's watching, what season are you in? I think that's the question we have to ask ourselves. What season are we in? And, it was a couple of years ago, I had a leadership retreat, business retreat. It was at the Lou Gardens. You attended.
Yes,
nice. It was also a transitional period.
Yeah, that was my
and
first
to whatever
time.
your comfort level is. because that did something for me. Because see, you hadn't told me about anything, but you still came. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying why this is important. It was other people that said they was going to come. Then didn't have it wasn't no reason not to, but you pressed your way and you came. So whatever your comfort level is, if you want to share about that may can encourage someone else, to whatever level you feel comfortable.
Well, it was 3 years ago, almost going on 3 years. God, time's gone by. One night I picked up the twins from school and came home. I wasn't feeling good. It was a strange pain. I said, this is not normal. She called one of my spiritual daughters to come take me to the hospital. And I wanted to go to one hospital. She goes, well, this other one's closer. And I'm like, okay, well, they're not going to keep me. They'll find out what's wrong. And I believe 24 to 48 hours later, I was in a coma. I was in a coma up until a couple of days before Thanksgiving. This is in October. Looking back at my progress notes, I died twice. And I was in the hospital for 97 days. Prior to that, Balecia would come home and show me videos of kids fighting on the campus, local high school. And I'm like, I would ask the same question, why are they so angry? And she said, Ma, I don't know. And God said, I heard this, something cleared their voice in the spirit. I'm like, I'm supposed to write, I ain't gonna write a book. I'm not writing a book on anger. I do classes on anger management. I'm not writing a book. You know, write a book. Okay. And that was a quick conversation. Anyway, ended up, because of neglect, having to, my limbs died. And, but God said, I'm not going to leave you. I'm right here with you. It's just, I'm going to be quiet for a minute. I had to advocate for myself and get things done, required things while I was in the hospital, which threw them off because, and I want to put this little plug in there. If you're a patient, you have rights. You have rights. And ask for the right people. Always ask for a social worker, the discharge planner. Always. But anyway, so I knew to do that. And the doctors kept saying, well, we're going to have to amputate your limbs. And I said, no, Jesus is not finished with me yet. I'm going to go home. So I was able to go home. And 6 months later, after being discharged, I was actively, amputating. So I said, oh, nope. I was in the hospital, no skin tears, no flu, no cold, no anything. Lost a little bit of hair.
But look at your crown.
Yes. Never was bald. My stylist, I came home on Tuesday. She was in my house Thursday with the largest thing of shampoo and conditioner, detox I've ever seen in my life. Worked my hair. I was just talking to her the other day. She goes, Lee, your hair. And she used to tell me that my natural hair was curly. I said, Charlotte, I've been with you for 17 years. You never told me that. As I'm getting my retouch. I said, this is my hair all along. So sometimes we think that we need to go and overdo something, overcompensate. And you don't even know what's on the base. You don't even, this is my natural hair.
Yes.
Why would I need to get a chemical in it?
Flowing your natural flow. And look at your crown today.
And she does my 2-strand twist. It'll be twisted up next week, for 3 weeks. And then I go and get a shampoo real quick and I'm done. And then my cousin just sent me a picture. She just cut all her perm out of her hair.
Yeah.
She said, you're not alone, cuz. I was like, oh my God, you cut your hair.
Yeah. Let me tell you something, guys, for those tuning in. When I had that event at Blue Gardens, Miss Gray showed up. She didn't give excuses. She didn't say shoulda, coulda, woulda. I didn't even know the situation, but she showed up. It's a reason why I'm emphasizing this. Know who's truly in your circle. And sometimes we have to understand as leaders, who we should and shouldn't connect with. And sometimes things will phase itself out because there was people that said that it was going to be there that day that didn't show. But Miss Grace showed despite her personal situation. I'm also saying, I'm trying to emphasize, even if you're going through a personal situation, you can still move forward. I mean, she did it literally. And if you go to her page, her Facebook, you can see her journey. You see her journey. And so I'm saying this because we all have gone through things, but what do we do when we're in the darkest hour? I'm telling you, I have called Miss Gray and had to talk to Ms. Gray, and she never one time turned down a call. So I speak life to you.
Amen.
That all the things that are still to come is going to flourish. Because you always take time for people.
And it's God now.
Oh, yeah, don't. Absolutely.
Because sometimes I don't want people.
I know, but you know what? You've never made me feel that way, though.
No,
even if it was, I never felt it.
I can't. I would never allow that.
Mm-hmm. And so for those that's listening and watching, just be mindful who you're pouring into, because you never know how that seed is going to come back. To all the leaders that's tuning in, you have to make sure you connect with someone that can also pour into you authentically. Because that's so important when you're building and you're growing and you're going through difficult places in your life. You know, the mark of when someone is truly connected to you is when they can call you and speak of what you're going through and they didn't even know the situation. Someone maybe listen to this show and you're like, how do I know the for real people in my life? How do I know if they're for real? One of the tests for me was with Miss Gray is that when I was going through a very difficult place in my life, she knew before I said a word. And she spoke life to me. So understand who's in your circle. You can't just have anybody in your circle. And I didn't plan for it to shift here. It just happened. But where you are in your life, Miss Gray specifically, there's so many things that's about to open for you.
Amen.
So many things.
I receive it.
And let me talk about the junior queen, princess. Yes. I had a photo shoot not that long ago. Mm-hmm. And at that photo shoot, this was our really first encounter physically. You know, we talked over the phone. That day, I was really nervous because it was a whole production was going on. That day of the Metamorphosis photo shoot, and there's a reason why I'm being transparent for those that's tuning in, because I believe leadership also comes with transparency.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I was nervous that day. I was just coming out of a difficult place in my life. The photo shoot was the start of something new for me. And Balecia, she assisted me that day. Yes, initially it's just about the clothes, but she brought peace. Because when I was trying to transform, I was having some technical difficulties, sister. You know what I'm talking about. And so I speak life over you. That even the seeds that you sowed into my life that day, it didn't go for naught. Just in how you handled everything as a young adult, that indicates to me how your business is going to flourish. It indicates to me that as you continue to grow and flow, that there's going to be no doors that's going to be closed for you. And if it is a closed door, that's not your path. I think I even shared with you that day, sometimes especially when I was trying to shift, you can feel very uncomfortable, but I didn't feel uncomfortable with you. So that's something on the inside that resonates authentically. And so people are going to just be drawn to your business. So I speak that over you and even other young people in your same age group. They're going to be attracted, and I'm pretty sure they already are now with your business. You are called out for your age group to be a leader. Not about I'm leading over, but leading people too.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
And so for those that's watching this show, maybe you're a young person, I speak life over you. And that whatever you're called to do, no matter what your limitation is, no matter what you have or don't have, it's all going to manifest for you. And there's a support system. It's a support system. Listen, for those that's watching, you may be a young person and you need some help. Reach out to me. Send me an email, ct@catherinetrotter.com. You can also call me, 407-710-6233. This is the season about pouring into. so we can all shift. And there's something else you had talked about before we started recording, and it was talking about the clinician turning into the client.
Yeah.
So as we get ready to wind down this segment, just give people a little taste of what that's about.
Well, that would be possibly. I know I'm slated to write my 4th book, and I'm sensing that's my autobiography. And I don't know if that's going to be a chapter in it, but this what I'm going through and what I have been through. When the clinician becomes the client, that's a whole different thing. But getting the respect back from the people who are helping you. Right now, I'm in occupational physical therapy therapies weekly. But my team is like, okay, Miss Gray, and I had to give them permission to gently push me to the next level because I can get comfortable. When you saw me, I was in a wheelchair. I'm driving now.
But let me tell y'all, hold on, wait a minute. Yes, she may have rolled up in a wheelchair, but she was the life of the party up in that place. Let me tell you something. If some kind of got quiet, too quiet in there, Miss Gray was raising her hand and she was shaking stuff up. So if you need somebody to come to your retreat, your workshop, and shake some stuff up, you need to call Miss Gray. I'm just keeping it real, because if something got quiet up in there, Miss Gray was shaking it up. She was shaking. So it was live up in there, and I tell you, and it's something to be said even through that moment in time. You still was you. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what I was saying. I was at my appointment yesterday, and I was saying I'm still me in here. You all are just getting to know me. Some of you know me, so you seeing me, even if I was in a wheelchair, you know my personality.
I wasn't you weren't gonna be quiet.
And I tried to say no. I'm a guest.
But I was on the side, and I was looking. I knew when you was about to say something. I felt it.
Yeah, I was like,
I got the video footage.
Yes, you do. Yes. And believe it or not only did my aide accompany me,
yes,
but my former student,
yes, they were there.
Was there, and then I had a client and his girlfriend and the baby, to come.
Yes.
And I'm just shocked. This is the young man was court ordered. He came home that day, and his girlfriend said, "Give me the number of this lady, because who are you?
Wow.
You've changed. What did she say to you?" And she became a client.
Wow.
They just recently moved out of the state. Yeah. But she's still keeping in touch.
Transformation.
But it's God.
Yes, absolutely.
It's God. I'm not bright. I'm not that bright. Most of the time, I don't care. If you catch me alone. What? But it flows. And that's another thing. That's a gift from God. And things will flow. You'll say, I'm thinking about maybe transitioning, but I'm not sure what kind of space I want. I said, well, what are you going to do? And then we're just talking. Yeah. What are you going to do? And you do, and that's what I do in my counseling. Yeah. I don't ever tell the client what to do. We just talk.
You help them discover. So listen, guys, as we get ready to wind down this segment, today has been a beautiful experience, beautiful energy all around. And you know what? You have to connect with this powerhouse team. Mother, daughter team, but they each individually have their own businesses, but at the same time, and I'm telling you, because I meet people, you can tell if it's a real connection or not, even if it's a parent situation. If it's cool, if it's not. This is cool. That's the energy I feel. And so I just, this is a segment I don't want to end. But all good things, they say come to end, but no, come to a continuation. This is just a pause.
Yes.
And then we're going to continue it. Yes.
We'll come back.
Absolutely.
However, but I just wanted to plug this last book. This is the book that came out of her showing me all the videos and people fighting.
Why am I so angry? Talk about that. What would give us the gist of it?
Well, basically, it's to understand, and it's a spiritual warfare guide for teens and tweens.
Okay.
Because in churches we don't teach this. We don't teach. Most churches don't even teach spiritual warfare. But we definitely don't teach because we don't have the traditional Sunday school or children's church anymore. So the kids are going out. They don't know. But I talk about. I have a chapter about it's in the DNA.
What does that mean?
You could have an angry gene.
Oh, okay.
And you get it because we have 23 of our parents' chromosomes each. So if your mom is an angry person and she conceived you, you could have that gene. Now, are you provoked? Can you be provoked? Or are you walking around just angry? And I'll be able to tell that. So I talk about, or it could be societal learning.
Yeah.
You could just be around the wrong people who are always angry, who are always drinking, who are always doing something, and you pick up the habit.
And turns into habit.
Exactly. So behind each chapter, there's only 6 chapters. There's a prayer, and then in between, there's some where you could write down some thoughts and stuff. But yeah, and I've had more adults buying the book, and I was like, "Is this for your child or for somebody younger?" No, I want to read it. Okay, you've been working around for 47 years angry. I got a problem with that because then her peers, they are bewildered and unhappy with their parents, and can't talk to them. And I'm like, oh my God.
And so it continues to the next generation. Now you have the younger generation angry, but maybe it's cyclical that it came through. Yeah.
It came through. And when I'm in session, that's one of my questions. You know, anybody in your family that has alcohol problem or severe mental health issue? Well, no, but my Uncle James, he could drink though. And he actually, and I'm like, okay, yes, in the family, people don't even equate that in the family. So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah,
it's a spiritual warfare guide. Yeah. And basically just explaining, let me see if you're angry. And you reading this, you could tell if you really...
What's in your DNA.
Exactly. And that's a whole show. That's a whole show.
Wow.
That's Exodus 20 and 5. I'll visit the iniquity upon your children's children. It's deeper than you could ever.
Yeah, when you mention it, I'm just like, wow. I'm just like sitting here pondering, like, what's in your DNA? I mean, that's that's not a common thing that you're often talking about.
Until you go to your medical doctor,
right?
And they have this whole list. Your mother's side and your dad's side. What are the prevalent? Well, those are symptomologies, but those emotions count too, and they're passed through the DNA. Because I could tell if you have an angry gene versus you could be provoked. And most of us could be just provoked.
Right.
And you go from 0 to 1,000. And you can't dial it back. Now, anger, just a little piece, when you really, if you're a person of anger, descent, and it's in the DNA, you can't dial it back. Once it's gone, I think it's like the mass shootings we're seeing and things like that, you can't talk them down. It is out. Once it comes out, it's out there. Yeah.
So for those that's watching, maybe you may find yourself in what we've been discussing these past few minutes, or maybe you have a family member, a friend. I definitely encourage you to reach out to Ms. Gray, find out about her program, her coaching program that can be of assistance. Because sometimes, we need assistance and we can't be ashamed of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Balecia, I want to pass the torch on to you as we get ready to wind down. Any final words of encouragement or any last plugs about your business?
One of my 1-year anniversary for my dessert business is coming up.
Okay, anniversary time. Okay.
So we're gonna have a little celebration.
All right. Yes.
Also, words of encouragement for those who started their business or anything like that. You need to be able to take bad criticism, good criticism. I learned that. I already knew. My mom was like, gotta be fair. What I'm saying? I had some customers that came at me rough. What I'm saying? For no reason. People may be having a bad day. You can't blame them, but respecting and establishing those guidelines and rules to your business as well, so that ain't nobody, you won't be fazed by if somebody cross you or say something rude. You know what I'm saying?
You never know. Right.
You got to be able to stay cool as well. Because I ain't gonna lie, if somebody come at me, I'm ready to come back. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, my business. I have to respect my business, and I'm gonna tell you, you have to respect mine. And when you establish those rules and guidelines, I had to do it because at first I was like, okay, I didn't have no rules or guidelines or anything like, oh, you have to do this and this and this and this to contact me. But I was like, it's time because I had a couple people just came at me. I'm just like, wow,
like what? Yeah,
what's going on? You know what I'm saying? But people are people. People are human.
Yeah.
People have issues, you know what I'm saying? They may not mean it intentionally, but it come across that way. So it's like you have to be calm. You have to be calm 25/8. It's just like it's that as an entrepreneur, you have to be that. You have to be extra nice. You have to do this. You can't act out of character because that tarnishes your business
and your brand.
People get to talking about you. People in this day and age will post about you, will post your page.
Quick.
Quit to do that. Quit to say something rude or anything like that. Oh, this person's disrespectful. Oh, you know that. You have to be calm. You have to believe in yourself. You have to have that confidence. You have to, don't be cocky with it, but you have to remain humble and just be like, okay, I got this. Be calm. Just be calm and just pray about it. If you have an issue, you got to take that up with God. You got to give all those issues up to God. You can't have that, tarnishing anything or yelling at something. You can't just act out of character. You have to just be you. Be calm. And coming into this world, it's a lot. You have your days where you want to give up. You have your days where you barely get any business weeks. Barely get any business. You know what I'm saying? You have to pray for that consistency. You have to believe in that consistency. Because when you pray about it, you got to believe what you're saying. Because if you don't believe, God ain't going to be like, you ain't going to go for that. God got me. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Take me through this journey. He's going to give me these customers this week. He's going to make sure I get paid this week or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like you have to believe, be humble. Please be humble.
And she spoke one time. And she spoke, I don't think you realize it, before we even knew about the pop-up shops. She spoke out just in the kitchen. She was making stuff. And she goes, I just need to be able to get to more people. Next thing I know, she said, Mom, I just paid for a booth at a pop-up shop. I said, what is that? And she's like, oh, this. And then I'm thinking, we've gone to a few. I've gone to a few with her. I'm like, well, I can sponsor a pop-up shopping opportunity. So new and young businesses can come out and really show them kind of how that should be done. But anyway,
and it's all about being organized and balancing your schedule as well. Because as a college student, I'm doing balancing school, balancing my personal life with friends, family. You have to find your balance and stuff so that you won't get discombobulated or lost off track. Because people begin to not believe in themselves. Like I had my moments where it's just like, okay, I ain't got no business, man. I don't know if I should be doing this for real. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about believing and believing in God. So I'm like, okay, obviously he gave me this gift for a reason, cook or whatever. Because I wasn't a baker. I wasn't a baker at all. Like, brownies, I could make some brownies. And I was just like, let me experiment. Let me customize some things and stuff like that. Put things together that's not usually together.
Immediately, customize. Immediately when she baked the first brownie, the cupcake. Immediately, the desserts in the jar. Totally customized. I'm like, you got that G.
Yes.
Love it. I just love to customize.
They're gonna say in the DNA.
Yeah. From back, way back, about 300 years.
Oh Lord. My family on both sides bakes.
Okay.
Stuff like that, but no business.
Right.
Don't take it. No, and that's another thing too. I told one of my biological members of the family, oh, they're doing this, and they're like, well, so and so used to draw, and so and so used to draw, and I'm like, is it hanging up somewhere? Because proof is in the pudding. You can tell me what everybody's done,
right?
Well, where is it at? And now she's taken that to that. She's taken entrepreneurism, because I'm still in service delivery in a sense, doing counseling and therapy and stuff like that, mentoring people, coaching people. But now she's taking it outside of that. And that's what that next generation will do, is take it and bring in technology and everything else. I'm learning technology as I go. She already knows it. They've mastered it. Her twin brother has mastered that. He's my IT person. He's an IT person. So they take it to that next level. But accepting constructive criticism that can make or break you. Because if you put your feelings in it, you're gonna get your feelings hurt.
That's why you gotta take your feelings out of entrepreneurship, because this world is not to play with.
And out of ministry too. It's not a personal thing. It's not a personal. I'm glad she heard that. She heard me counseling people. I learned that. No, it's not personal. Don't take it personal.
And it's crazy because like the first interaction with somebody that came at me rudely, it was surprisingly I was calm. So I was just like, okay, I can't do, I can't. I don't know you. You don't know me personally. I can't even go at you like that. You know what I'm saying? You handle it that way. I'm gonna keep distance. You know what I'm saying? Maybe block you. Because you have to do that.
Yeah, you do have boundaries.
Block, delete. That's our favorite phrase.
You gotta block. You have to block.
We would delete, unfriend you. Because we're okay. We're not the heavenly host. We're okay. It's all right if you want to go. It's nothing personal.
Because you got to have boundaries, healthy boundaries.
Healthy boundaries. constructive criticism, and balance.
For your mental health. That can mess you up.
That is what is key in entrepreneurship. You have to be able to balance. And we as women, especially if you have kids, you know, and you have a husband or whatever, or you're caring for an elderly member of the family. I mean, we are spread out. And then we look up and say, well, we don't have to do that anymore. But who am I now? Because we've lost ourselves. And I want to come back one day and talk about we as women. And how we lose ourselves.
That's a needed conversation.
And how to bring it back. Stella got a groove. Have some definite, poignant points in it. Okay. All right.
My last word is, to be consistent. Because reposting, like, you have to, social media wise, I always tell myself, you have to post every day. If my stuff, deletes, because after a while, everything deletes when it's on or whatever, you have to be consistent in posting, consistent in voting. You just have to be consistent. Every little second counts, because you never know, somebody may be like, she's selling this. I think I want to try this. You know what I'm saying? I think I want to get my stuff customized from her, whatever. You have to be consistent. Consistency matters in business, where I recommend everybody, like, when you're starting your business, get it out. Talk to a few friends that you trust, because not everybody's meant to be on this journey with you or follow you or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I learned that too. I mean, I only got a selected few.
Right.
Select a few.
But they come through, whether we're at the pop-up shop or whether we just delivered or they come by the house and pick up. They are very consistent.
My selected few are my biggest support.
Yes, and they buy big orders. They don't just say, give me a jar. They say, no, I want 3 of those, 4 of those. How much is that?
Right.
They know your prices by now.
And it's going to happen that way. Like, you're going to have, supportive customers. Your friends may not be your supportive customers. They may not be your support system at all. And that's when you get to removing yourself. You have to learn to drop those dead-weighted people out of your life as well. Because they're not going to get you anywhere. Like, God, I always learned that, God can block your blessings if you have certain people He don't want in your life.
That's a whole segment right there.
Get rid of them people, you won't be able to flourish. You won't be able to keep going.
Because
no wonder why there's a pause. There's a pause in your business or pause in whatever you're doing. You wonder why the people that you're trying to keep around, because feelings are involved. So the people trying to keep around is people
you just dropped a message.
Learn that the hard way.
Generation Z over here. Generation Z.
You gotta know.
I'm telling you. And it doesn't. And what I'm sharing with my kids is that it is not age related.
Okay.
I got 70 and 80-year-old people going through that same and trying to come out with that same and be negative and all that. It's just, and you may have a 19-year-old doing it, 21-year-old doing it. It's not the devil will use whoever he needs to destroy you.
Listen, for those that's tuning in, we're gonna have a part 2. Stay plugged in, stay plugged in, because we will let you know when this dynamic duo will be back, because I think it's some residual conversation that needs to be had, particularly in the final things that y'all were just talking about. You were talking about those that's in your circle. Maybe you didn't get the blessing, or what something might have been blocked because of the other individuals in your circle that's not supposed to go into your destiny. And then Ms. Gray, you were talking about women and how we've gone through things and transitioning, and that whole conversation is specifically for women, right? So there will be another part to this conversation. Listen, for those of you tuning in, check out my website. It's catherinetrotter.com. With this video, you're going to have the links. Click on them to follow Ms. Gray, to follow Balecia. I'm telling you, they're both doing phenomenal things. Stay tuned, stay connected.